Hi, I'm Amanda Edwards, and in this video, I'm going to talk about the connection between your physical body's health and well-being and your ability to tune into and live out your highest purpose in the world. As a mystic, I have lived through many years of learning my own self, my own apparatus, the physical being that I am, the energetic and spiritual being that I am, in order to help other people connect with their own soul's highest purpose. So this video has three parts. First, I'll talk about your physical exercise, how that connects to your intuition and your soul's knowing. The things that you consume, your diet, your medicines, your ingestibles of all kinds. And finally, the third topic is really simple breath work. Breath work is a good facilitator for anything that you want to do well. So that's an important piece of knowing how our energetic self is connected with our physical self. My own experience of learning that the strange things that went on for me that other people weren't necessarily experiencing, as far as picking up spiritual information, the learning of that, the discovery of how to use it, had a very strong physical component for me. As many people go through on their spiritual journey, I was in a period of dark night of the soul, life falling apart, relationship trouble. I was acting in ways that friends and family thought were really unlike me. I almost didn't know myself at times during that period. What was energy trying to flow through me, flow through my body in a new way, showed itself in really physical ways. For years, I lived with what was called a chronic disease. I had been diagnosed with lupus as a college student, and that kind of autoimmune illness is essentially your body's systems turning on itself. So my immune system attacked my own body. Instinctively, there was something in it that gave me the sense that there was more going on than what the medical solutions were offering. Taking a bunch of medications that then had worse side effects than the symptoms they were supposed to be helping didn't feel right to me. I did follow my doctor's orders in general, but I also had a strong sense that I was the root, the solution within myself to being well and healthy. So during this time that I was suffering from those symptoms and my life was falling apart, I also found myself strangely compelled to start running for the first time in my life. I had done sports as a kid. I was pretty athletic, but I had never liked long distance running. It felt hard. The breathing was awkward. I would get cramps in my side, achy knees. So during this hardest period of my life, why would I suddenly feel like running all the time? I would go out for miles and more miles, and people worried that I was losing weight too fast. Maybe I had an eating disorder. What I didn't find the words for at the time to explain to others, that I now understand very well from my work as a mystic, is that energy was working its way through my body. I felt driven to do this, to expel this energy that was sort of caught up in this body that was attacking its own self. And over some years and some changes in my life, relationships, the structure of my household and my family, and some changes in my eating habits, my outward expression of who I am as a person, all of those changes happened slowly over time, so that now I can look back and see how physically my body was transforming to outwardly show the gifts that I had inside trying to get out. Fast forward to today, many years since having that diagnosis and going through all of these difficult experiences, and I hardly ever go to a doctor. I haven't taken any medications for years, and it coincides with my doing work as a mystic that feels fulfilling and purposeful and specific to the gift that I have. The exercise component. As I said, I didn't used to think that I could be a runner, which doesn't really make a lot of sense since I have all of my limbs and my body was strong and healthy. It just didn't seem like something I could do until I felt compelled for a reason other than the physical fitness. I was running to get energy out. I wasn't running to become thin, to lower my cholesterol. I just felt compelled to expel energy. That was my first hint that something different was going on for me. Now, exercise should be something that feels right to your body. I always am just amazed by how many people listen to someone else's fitness journey and think that it's going to automatically apply to them. Whether your neighbor gets up at 5 every morning to go on a jog, or your brother in law lifts weights and works out in a gym, all of those bodies and lives are uniquely their own. And your physical experience in your body needs to be uniquely your own too. Exercise should be an expression of your body, your energetic self wanting to make the most of who you are, to use the machinery that you're living in a way that feels invigorating, that energizes you further, that clears your mind. Anything that you do for exercise, if you first prioritize how you feel in your emotional self, your sense of enthusiasm for your life, for the day, for the exercise activity that you're in the middle of, if you try for a little while letting those be your priorities rather than the amount of weight you can lift or the number of calories that you're burning, that exercise will feed your spiritual path, your soul's highest purpose in a way like nothing else. So, my best advice is to not take everyone else's advice in exercise and learn to listen to what your body wants to do. If you want to hit a tennis ball against a wall every day because it feels like it helps it clear your mind, you're using your body in a way that's good for your soul. If you want to take a walk with your children and you find yourself stopping every few feet to smell a flower or to look at an ant on the ground, that's feeding your body and your soul at the same time, not to mention being really good for your kids. I think you can tell what I'm getting at. If exercise is less about an outcome you're trying to get to and more about the experience in the midst of it, it's about the journey, not the destination, right? You're going to find your soul's purpose naturally starts to come out when that is the reason you move this body that you're in. Second, what are you eating? What are you drinking? What are you putting in your mouth every day? And how does that connect to your highest purpose? At the same time that I found myself wanting to run every other day to get energy out, I also noticed that my cravings for food were really different. And the things that I had strong distaste for became really different. Whereas I used to eat burgers and steaks and all kinds of meat, I suddenly really didn't want to eat anything more than a little bit of seafood here and there, maybe some chicken, really light meats. I found myself craving big platters of grilled vegetables or um, just plain nuts and dried fruits. I sort of felt like I was turning into a hunter-gatherer person living really close to the earth and only wanting things sort of fresh out of the ground all of the time. It made sense to me later that I was trying to ground myself while going through this huge spiritual breakthrough, trying to ground myself in nature. Any food that felt closer to nature, less processed. Those larger animals that we kill for food have taken many years of raising on farms and being treated with hormones and all kinds of things that put a lot of work into raising that beef or the pork that you have in a hot dog, let's say. There's so much in that that didn't feel instinctively like my body needed it or even wanted it. Listening to my cravings, which sounds easier said than done, because of course, a lot of the time we do listen to cravings for pizza or ice cream or a bag of chips that just sound really good. And hey, I do that stuff sometimes too. But listening to what your body feels good after eating, how do you feel once you've had that craving? That's what tells you whether it's good for your soul's journey or not. So the lighter you feel, the more energized by your food, that's going to be a hint that it's good for your path, for the life outcomes that your body is trying to express. That's going to apply also, of course, to the things that we drink, whether it's a lot of caffeine or alcohol, sugary drinks, of course, all of the things that sort of end up dragging your body down. While the moment of release or relaxation that you might get from alcohol feels good, you might notice the next day after drinking, you feel really awful. Of course, that's happened to any of us who drink. I found that while I was going through my spiritual breakthrough as well, I just didn't want to drink alcohol as much anymore. I encourage everyone that I work with who's really going through a breakthrough period of their life to pay attention to what they're drinking and how they feel afterwards. So, are you getting enough fluids through herbal tea, water, fruits, vegetables that are really full of water for your body to be full of energy and ready for what your day is going to ask of you? Are the vitamins in what you're consuming really straight from food? Or are you taking a lot of supplements that sort of artificially take the place of healthy food? Again, we're strongly influenced by the people around us and the messages in the media about new supplements, cure-alls. This shake will make you healthy. These vitamins will make you strong, young, fit, sexually active, whatever it is. And really, nature and our body's instincts for what to consume are so smart, so brilliant. If you can trust your body's instincts and the sensations that you have after you eat or drink to tell you what's good for you, I find that to be the best way to know that your body is ready for what your life is meant to be. Now to the third piece of my physical apparatus and how it relates to my spiritual journey and the work that I'm able to do. In breathing, intentional, focused breathing exercises. Again, the ones that feel right to you, whether you find them in a YouTube video or through a meditation app. You could go to a yoga class, you can learn breathing from mindfulness experts, or you can notice when you're doing that exercise that you find invigorates your soul and your day the most. Notice how your breath is connected to the sense of well-being that you feel, or the clarity, or the focus. One of the things I noticed with my breathing exercises is that I hadn't been paying attention to my exhalation as much as inhaling. It's a full cycle, right? You can't have an inhalation without exhalation. You have to get it all out make room in your life before anything new can come in. So the things that are good for you, the oxygen that you're pulling into your body, only has room once you've gotten rid of what your body doesn't need in breathing out that carbon dioxide. So it is equally important, the getting rid of, as the taking in. That is a huge metaphor for life in general. I find myself reminding clients all the time. It's like when a bonsai artist creates a beautiful new shape in a tree, they're taking away the pieces that they don't need to create the shape of the tree that they want to see. I hope that these new ways of looking at your physical body and its connection to your soul's path inspire you to pay a lot of attention to your own body, how you feel when you exercise, what changes you see when you spend a little time in focused breathing, and what foods and drinks you consume, and how you feel after you have them. Pay attention and trust yourself. You are living in a brilliant mechanism, in a brilliant natural environment that has everything you need to live the life that you're meant to. Thanks for listening. I hope that you'll subscribe and like this video and help me create more. Please comment about your experiences and any questions that you have. Thank you.